I take D. My son's taking D. Everybody's taking.
Hello and welcome to the Part-Time Gamers, the gaming podcast for people with full-time lives. I'm Sir Nix, clocking in with my good friend 9 of 12.
Hello, I am 9 of 12.
And I don't know why, but that music was really loud. I don't know if that was just me or what, but yeah, I'll have to check the settings on that eventually. Yeah, that was just really loud for some reason. All right. Actually, that might have been because I changed the setting earlier. I don't know. I'll check it out later. All right. So yeah, we're back. Took a little break for Easter, but we are back today for our last game of this month and this theme. And yeah, it's been a week. It's been a couple weeks. Yeah. People who are a little bit more interested in what we were talking about earlier, you can join Patreon, get our pre-show, and listen to us lamenting about medical stuff this week. And briefly talking about, other stuff that I will not mention anymore because it irritates me. Anyway, yeah, Theo is out for now. The wonders of Utah internet have struck again. So his internet took a crap. So it's just gonna be me and
Utah.
Yeah, that's exactly after he said that. That's exactly what I said. Just like, thanks a lot, Utah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm tired. We're going to do this anyways. Let's go ahead and jump into our game and get back to work.
Morning break is over. Morning break is over.
Yep, definitely something got changed because that is really loud in my ears. Anyway, yep, today, like I said, this is going to be the last day of our fishing game theme. Yeah, that's probably what I changed there. And today we're going to be talking about a game that actually, when I came up with this theme, this game had literally come out almost like the week beforehand. And that's actually what kind of got me on the idea for this theme. We're going to be talking about a game called Fish Fear Me! It has to be yelled because it's all in capitals. Developed and published by Heather Flowers! Which is also
we should have done. We should have gotten Claire to record those lines.
Oh, hindsight, man. That would have been hilarious. Just play that clip of her yelling it. But yeah, everything is in capitals, so capitalized, so it has to be yelled. But yeah, it is. The only place I've seen this is on Windows via Steam, $9.99, pretty cheap game. So very accessible in that regard. So this is a top, like according to, I'm just going to read the description that they had on Steam, a top-down action roguelite about catching fish, fighting them, selling their bones, and catching more fish. Upgrade your boat and weapons, hunt down a sea monster bounties, delve into eldritch mysteries, and try to pay off a cosmic debt millennia in the making. So all that comes down to, it's basically a Vampire Survivors like with fishing, kind of, with quote unquote fishing. That's one of the reasons why our theme is in quotation marks, is because, they're kind of fishing. But so this game at first glance, not like I started watching some of the gameplay with no commentary, and I could not follow any of it. Mainly because the person I was watching was just going very quickly, and I couldn't actually read what was going on. And it was just very confusing to me what was going on. So this is actually one of the few times when I went into a video that actually had commentary. It was an archive of someone's stream, and they were talking through the game as they were playing it. And things started to make a lot more sense. So, this being a Vampire Survivors like, has some obvious similarities to it. Players can choose.
Fast-paced.
Yeah, very fast-paced. Players can choose. I have too many things. Players can choose which unlocked boat they start off their run with, The unique thing is each of the boats start with different weapon at different stats, which are speed, health, and handling. So, sorry, I'm doing stuff at the same time because things. I did not do this well earlier. Anyways, so yeah, I'm all over the place right now. I'm sorry. So you can start off with the different boats. Trying to move stuff. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, the different stats obviously mean different things. Pretty self-explanatory: speed, health, handling. The attacks happen automatically, just like in Vampire Survivors, and the players can unlock permanent upgrades between their runs. So very similar to Vampire Survivors. All of those are very similar things. It kind of defines the genre, so to speak. And this game definitely has all of those. But there are a bunch of things that are dissimilar, that are different in this. For one, the controls. In this, you're using a boat, so it's not the same like up, down, left, right controls that you would have in a 2D game like Vampire Survivors. You're actually basically driving the boat. So it's actually much more like almost like an old school racing game. Like reminds me a lot of like Micro Machines old racing game where you have forward and back, and then A and D control your turning left or right in relation to whichever way you're facing. So
It's
it
kind of
takes
like asteroids.
yeah,
You're kind of like floating a bit and rotating and
yeah. It is actually very much like asteroids in that respect, except there's more, like, obviously since you're not in space, you're on water, there's more drag and stuff like that. But yeah, it is very similar to that style of controls where you're going forward, back, and steering in relation to the ship. There also is a mouse control option where, like, in the video I'm showing right now, when they get back to it, there's these three like green dots in front of the ship, in front of the boat. You're basically you can control with a mouse. Left click is accelerate, right click is reverse, and you're basically controlling it via like a spline type steering, which I'm not entirely sure which is better or worse, or I don't know. But it's a very different control scheme than Vampire Survivors. So another thing that's very different in this than in Vampire Survivors is spawning in the fish. So in Vampire Survivors, everything just kind of spawns on its own and you just have to survive. This one is interesting because they don't spawn in by themselves. You actually have to bait them. So you have unlimited junk bait is what they call it. And, but you can get common, uncommon, and rare bait as well. And the better the bait, the stronger the fish, and the bigger the rewards you can get. So I think it's cool how there's this kind of a self-adjusting difficulty to the game, because you are the one in control of how many fish you're facing at one time.
mm-hmm.
So like the video I'm showing right now, they did bait only a couple times, so they only have a couple fish to deal with. The guy that I was watching earlier with the commentary, he was getting strong enough weapons and stuff like that, strong enough upgrades, that he just literally just the entire time he was going, he was throwing bait out and spawning as many fish as possible, and was able to get pretty far that way. There was days he was getting a little bit later on where he was getting like 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 gold in one
Wow.
day, which is a lot. Like when you're first starting off, like the first day, you'll maybe get 100 until you start getting some upgrades. But yeah, he was really getting up there later on. So Another thing that's unique about this is people watching the video will notice there's a timer. There's specifically a time of day on the top of the screen. That's because the runs are broken up into days. So starts at 6 o'clock in the morning, ends at midnight. And so you're just trying to get as much as you can in the single day, going on from there. And the runs are broken up into 7 days. So at the end of the 7th day, maybe end game, you can figure out something else to survive it. But at the end of the 7th day, your run is ended by the Leviathan. Your boat is just eaten up by the Leviathan. From what I've heard, there is a way to beat the Leviathan, but I haven't seen that far ahead to know exactly what it is. But so you do have that kind of automatic limiter right there. The other thing that is very different is in Vampire Survivors, you're constantly getting weapons and upgrades and stuff like that just from beating the creatures and stuff like that. In this, the only time you can get upgrades for your run is in between days. So the only thing you're picking up really while you're going out is just the fish carcasses and, stuff like that. Another thing that's important is, when you pick up a fish carcass in this, you actually get health back. So to a certain degree, depending on how you build your ship, what kind of ship you're using, you can actually be kind of aggressive. Like one of the ships literally is called the hammer ship, where the ship itself is the weapon. It has one of the upgrades you can get is ramming speed. So if you're going fast enough, you can just by hitting the fish, you can deal damage to them.
And there's some interesting ways they make it challenging for, the moving around that Vampire Survivors doesn't do anywhere near as much of, where the different fish are different speeds.
Yeah. I mean,
which can really make it hard when you're maneuvering this wonky boat.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how bad it looks?
I mean, that is another point. So people watching this video notice that it is like compared to the last 3 games we talked about in this kind of genre. The visuals are just kind of atrocious.
Oh man.
Yeah,
it's like turning the pixels way, down to nothing and drawing it with your mouse on a draw program.
Like it honestly looks like this person, this developer made the game in MS
Drawful.
Paint.
It's Drawful level.
Yeah, it is pretty, like, that is the one thing that is kind of betrays this game a little bit, if anything. It looks like they made it in MS Paint. Which this developer has only done 2 games on Steam at least. And both of them, actually the merchant that in between days is the same one as their previous game. Like literally they just took that asset and used the exact same one in this.
Like the Squid Ink, I'm like, I've seen that brush,
Yeah. So that's
which is fine. It's its own aesthetic, right?
Yes.
You just want to get your idea out there. You're developing this game.
And if anything, that just kind of shows that it's not about the visuals. That's one thing that's impressive about this is, and like I said, it just kind of exemplifies it. It's not about the visuals. I mean, even the original Vampire Survivors was criticized for its visuals at first, until the people realized that the gameplay is amazing. I mean, since we did that, episode 4 of this show, and I think since then you've still been going back to it every so often.
I still play.
So that reminds me, I need to get back to it too.
Well, they're still dropping DLCs too.
Yeah, they're still dropping updates and DLCs for it and everything. So, I mean, but it's, don't let the visuals of this mislead you. The game actually has very solid mechanics to it. Very simplistic in its mechanics. Actually, when it starts off, it's somewhat simplistic. It's relatively easy to do, but it still has a lot of depth to it because there's You can get there's 16 different ships you can unlock. I don't know. I think there's probably 16 different weapons you can get as well. There's like just in the first zone alone, there's I think like 30 something fish that require you to be in a different area using a different kind of bait and stuff like that. There's three different there's three different zones that you can get. Oh, and then the upgrades that you can get in between the runs, those offer a lot. Like one of the things that is very important, the first upgrade you get is a bounty board. And what that does is each day there is, depending on what level of the bounty board you have, up to 3 fish that are bounty fish. And if you get these fish, they give you an insane amount of money. Oh, I mean, the guy that I was talking about earlier, that was how he got so much gold in one day. Is he like the bounty fish? There was like 2 different bounty fish. Both of them were right in the like main area, the first starting area called the harbor. So he just annihilated a bunch of those fish, made like 6,000-7,000 gold in one day, just getting a bunch of these bounty fish. Because like normally the fish would get you like maybe 3 gold, and he was getting bounty fish that were giving him like literally about 1,000 gold each. That is one of the biggest, like one of the most important things I could tell you about this game is like really, once you unlock it, really go after those bounty fish, because those are going to be the ones the most worthwhile to get the gold, to get upgrades and everything like that. And also I think the bounty fish, when you get, I think there's 2 currencies in this game. There's the gold coins, and there's like they look kind of like fish hooks. I think that's what they're supposed to be. Those are the ones that are used to unlock the actual upgrades between the runs. So when you get those bounty fish, I believe it gives you those as well. So that's another reason why it's important to really go after those bounty fish. Yeah, so there is still a surprising amount of depth in this game, despite the very simplistic graphics, the gameplay and everything. It just seems like actually a pretty fun game to play, and it's only $10 on Steam. So
yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's for $10. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can still get a lot of gameplay out of this game too. I mean, the guy that I was watching, he was playing it like the first stream that he did. He was playing it for like 3 hours, like just in the first zone. I don't even think he got to the second zone yet. So you can get quite a bit of gameplay out of this, just like you can with, well, not as much as Vampire Survivors, because Vampire Survivors has a lot of updates and DLCs to it. This does not, but for $10, it's still pretty cool that way. Yeah,
it's harder than it looks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that getting used to the controls would be the first big hurdle. Because again, it isn't necessarily the most intuitive, especially if you're coming from Vampire Survivors, where it's very simple. I tilt the stick this way and I go that direction. This one is like, okay, I tilt the stick left and I'm turning my boat left, counterclockwise and everything.
Swinging around,
floating
in the deep.
Yeah. Also, it's like some of the weapons in this are a little bit ridiculous. Like you start off, like the very first boat you have is a rowboat, and you're using a fishing pole, which is just like just a very quick attack that goes towards whatever fish is closest to you. It's a very, very basic attack. Upgrading that makes it bigger and faster and everything, deal more damage and all that stuff. But like some of the other weapons, like you get a net eventually, you get a trawler that throws a net periodically behind it, and it just creates like just this zone where if a fish goes through it, they start taking damage. What's nice is if the fish is killed by the net, their carcass is automatically sent to your ship. It's automatically caught. Because normally you'd have to go back and pick up the fish remains and all that stuff. So that can be, if you're fast enough and you're able to get enough smaller fish to trail behind you, the fishing net's actually really good. Because then you just take out a huge swath of fish that come up behind you. You can get a harpoon that just fires straight ahead of you. You can get cannons that fire off to the side of you. One weapon that I think has the possibility of being very powerful if you know how to use it is the anchor. The problem is it doesn't fire out or anything like that. It literally just drags behind you, but it has some physics to it. So you can actually, if you get good enough, you can actually as you turn, you can swing it around yourself, and it has the potential of doing a lot of damage, but it's very difficult to use. And I think that also affects your handling. So, because it exerts those physics on your ship as well. So again, those are some of the weapons I've seen. Like some of the other effects that they have on there are pretty cool. Like you can get a metal detector that anytime you would gain health when you're already at full health, it converts it into gold instead. So there's, for honestly being such a kind of just ugly looking game, it has a surprising amount of depth and gameplay to it. So, I mean, it really does cater to the kind of people who would play Vampire Survivors, where it's like, okay, the graphics don't really matter that much. The gameplay's there, is my point.
Yeah.
So I think this is, and for the part-time gamer aspect of it, like I said, a single run, pretty much no matter what, lasts 7 days. So you're not going to be spending a whole lot of time per run. So it gives you a lot of off ramps for taking a break, which is nice. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a whole lot more that we can really discuss about the game.
No.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward for what it is. So, yeah. I mean, that's not a problem, though. Having a straightforward, just like, this is what the game is. This is what it does. Simple as that. Is really nice. Let's see if that's... Yeah. Sorry. Adjusting volume.
So you're calling someone? It sounded like a...
I think this is the correct one. I think this might be why the sounds were so loud. I think I might have accidentally adjusted that at some point. Anyway, yeah. So $10 on Steam. You know, if you like that kind of genre, I think this is actually a pretty good addition to it. Just embrace the silliness of it and the MS Paintness of it. If I couldn't go that far. It seems like actually a pretty good time. So, all right. I'll definitely have enough time for a little bit more of this Nintendo discussion in our water cooler talk.
You get that thing I sent you?
Yeah, I got it. Nope, still really loud. Didn't change the right one. Okay. Anyway, I'll have to figure that out later.
It was about the same here, so...
Yeah, it's really loud in my ears and on the stream, so I'll have to adjust that later. But yeah, so 2 weeks ago, we talked about, started bringing up Nintendo Switch prices and everything like that, and how they had pushed back the pre-orders. Well, they have officially done the pre-orders. I believe they started on the 24th. So a couple days ago, actually. And what's surprising is, so the article that we have here, let me post it in chat real quick. So the article that we have here is Switch 2 Chaos in Japan as my Nintendo store buckles under weight of users desperate to find out if they've won pre-order lottery, and now scammers are taking advantage, which is not surprising. But the big news is that Nintendo underestimated the desire or the demand for the Nintendo Switch 2. What's most surprising though is where, because it's not in America. It's actually in Japan that they've underestimated the demand for the Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there were I think I heard on Core that the original Nintendo Switch had 300,000 people who were looking for it or whatnot in Japan. I think that was something like that. The Nintendo Switch 2 had 2.2 million people in Japan who were signing up for pre-orders. So yeah, so apparently the whole price point of it, I mean, this is the strongest thing Nintendo has going for it, honestly, is the fact that they are such a walled garden when it comes to this kind of gameplay, of these games in general. If you want to play a Mario game, you have to get a Nintendo product. They're so exclusive in what they have. So that it's if you really are that much of a fan of the games and you want those games, you have to kind of pony up and pay for their stuff. I don't know. I feel like it's slightly. It doesn't feel good. That they kind of know that they can get away with it. I don't know. It's difficult to really advocate what's going on with all this stuff because it's gotten to the point where while Nintendo still is a premier product, there's a breaking point.
It is just in a different way.
Yeah. And
it doesn't have, the highest end graphics in the world, but the Switch's mobility kind of changed the way things work, and then the IPs that are only there.
Yeah.
Make it just really worth it to some people.
Yeah. I mean, and I can understand that too. I mean, that was why I thought it was so nice when I got my Switch Lite, but I also didn't have to pay for that. I got it from a raffle at work.
Yeah.
So, but it's there's, at least for me, there's a certain point where it's okay, does the cost really justify it? And for me personally, in a lot of cases, no, it doesn't anymore. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like Steam, why I like Xbox Game Pass and stuff like that, is because they have a very good value. Steam is doing a sale, it seems like every other hour on a bunch of different things. Some of which are on my wish list, so it gives me the opportunity to buy something I wanted at a discount. Nintendo stuff almost never goes on sale. And it's and when something does, it makes the news. So it's
but it doesn't have to.
And that, I think that's the problem. It's I don't know.
Are things go on sale because it's just garbage they're trying to unload, though? A lot of games, no one's buying it anymore, so we'll lower the price to try and get more sales. And I don't think Nintendo has that problem. It's, everybody who wants it buys it.
Yeah.
And then, especially now that things are digital, so they don't have physical stuff they need to unload.
Yeah.
So the only people that haven't bought it yet are people that are still saving up for it, and they will.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, I feel bad the fact that they know this, that they know they can do this. I mean, there's, no matter what, there's going to be hardcore Nintendo people who will buy it no matter what it is, who need to have the newest Mario Kart, who need to have the newest Zelda, who need to have the newest first-party stuff from Nintendo. I just know that personally, that's not me anymore. As the only two games I even have on my Switch Lite are Smash Brothers Ultimate and Slime Rancher, and my kids are the ones who playing Slime Rancher. Uh, I mean, my kids have played more on my Nintendo Switch than I have over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm really curious about is how this is going to affect the prices of the original Switch. Because if there is a good resale market for the original Switch, I might consider that actually. Because I actually would like to have a full Switch that I can put onto the TV so that my kids and I can play some of these like Nintendo or like Mario Kart and stuff like that. Because I have a cousin who has a full Switch that he brings to family events every so often when they're able to make it, and my kids love it when he brings it, because then they're able to play like Kirby and play Mario Kart and play all these games that they don't normally be able to play. So
Well, as long as they still have, and you got to give them credit for at least backing their product too.
yeah,
Because the Switch always had the problem with the Joy-Cons getting drift real quick. And
yeah.
you can still, how many years was that? 7 years? Like, you can just push the buttons and get them replaced.
Yeah, although that is one.
And they're eating that cost. I mean,
Yeah.
that costs a lot. This is one of the price increase on the new one is like still covering losses on all that hardware they had
Well,
to send around the world for years and years, and are still doing it.
yeah. I mean, there is that
To my
too.
knowledge, I looked it up. As far as I can tell, they're still doing it.
Yeah. I mean, and that is one thing that I think might be contribute. Like, I don't know how much it actually how much it actually costs to make, to manufacture the Switch 2, but that could also be potentially a thing. Is they don't do loss leaders, where it's like the price of the device is how much it costs to make it. I mean, I don't know if that's the case or not, but like Xbox and PlayStation typically will do a loss leader just to get you in the environment, and then make up the money with the games themselves.
Yeah, I don't think so much, given the components that it's made of.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's a loss leader per se for that price, except if they're gonna have to replace again all the parts. But they went
Yeah.
with the lower res screen, which people were a little surprised about at that price point.
Yeah.
So.
It looks like for most of the price increase seems to be for the actual processing power.
But had they not done that replacement program, people wouldn't be buying the 2 until they knew what was going on with the hardware.
Yeah.
They really had to save face with that.
Yeah, and the things that's surprising though is they are still using the same joystick technology. They're not going to like the Hall anti-drift stuff. So they're still going to have issues with the joysticks at some point. I don't know. It seems like an odd choice to not have that for the new one.
They had to have changed something though, so it doesn't just immediately wear out the way it was.
I mean, there might have been improvements over the last couple of years, but yeah, as far as I know,
Because when you get them replaced, the new ones don't get drift immediately. So,
well, I'm sure these ones, they don't get drift immediately, but if you use it long
they're
enough,
at
I'm
least
sure it
getting the new
will.
ones.
Oh, like I have I have a 8BitDo controller for Xbox now, and it's supposed to have it's like Hall effect or something like that. For the joysticks, that's supposed to prevent drift from happening. So I'm surprised they didn't decide to go with that, with the price point that's already at. Yeah. So yeah, it's just the pre-orders happened, and again, one of the big points is how much more popular it seems to be in Japan, as opposed to the U.S., and how they seemingly underestimated that. in Japan, which I mean, like
Yeah.
like I said, like the numbers, it's a huge jump from the original Switch, like going from like 300,000 something to 2.2 million people trying to pre-order it. Oh, I mean that's a sizable jump. So I'm
Yeah, it's gonna make it harder for people down
yeah
the road. But
yeah.
after
I
the
mean,
pre-sale's over.
no matter what, I'm the earliest I could potentially get one of these if I decide to, anyways. It'd be like in about a year or so. Oh
Oh, there's got to be big changes in my life.
yeah
I'm door dashing for groceries right now.
yeah
I'm not. I'm just hoping my Xbox stays alive, and I'll be
yeah.
playing my Switch more. Actually, because I did not cancel my Nintendo Online.
Oh yeah.
I was planning to, and I was like, "Oh crap, when does that come up?" And then it came out before I
Hmm.
caught it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Because we bought it years ago. I think it was like a Christmas present for our kids, because they were all into retro games at the time,
Yeah.
and it gives you access to all those old games and everything. And it was like, so we got it, and we just kind of ignored it and let it keep renewing.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh shit, we need to cancel that. We're not even using it. And then didn't quite get it in time, so I'm stuck with it for another year.
Oh, it's for a year. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's a yearly. It was an uncomfortable hit, but
Yeah. Yeah.
although it probably, because I don't I don't know if the online gaming though, if we would have met the 50 hours you need, but we have probably owned um, the online service long enough to qualify for the pre-order.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, John Jagger on the Core podcast actually had this whole thing this past week where he wanted to see if he could even get one, and ended up going to like the Best Buy website to try to do the pre-order and everything like that, and got so far as to like he was putting his credit card information in, so you could have gotten it, and he was like, "What am I doing? I can't do this." But apparently got far enough that he could have gotten it if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Or pre-ordered it.
I was really
So-
annoyed when I first heard about the pre-order requirements and stuff. Because I was like, man, that's a lot. What the hell are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
not everyone plays online, but I want to say it occurred to me, but I think Rob brought it up. It's like it's to keep those scammers, the people just want to snatch them up and resell out, and that does
Yeah.
make sense
Yeah.
to go ahead and sort it out somehow at the top.
Yeah. And that actually reminds me of like a kind of a classic case of this kind of thing for like well, not necessarily pre-orders, but like for trying to like scalping purposes. I still remember when the first iPhone came out. There's this whole like news segment where the kid that was in the front of the line to get the first iPhone out of the store. This woman came in and just gave him like a couple $100 to get in line in front of him. She came with like thousands of dollars in cash, and her whole intention was going to be to go in there, buy out every single iPhone, and resell them for a higher price. Until she got in there first in line and was told it's only one per customer. So
Yeah,
sorry. I mean, that was a very smart thing for them to do because I'm sure they foresaw this with how many people were lined up outside. It's
gotta
like,
do something.
yeah.
People are jerks, and money is stupid.
Jeez. Like I just lamenting about like years and years and years of trying to find a graphics card at cost, like at like retail price online. And it was just insane because a new graphics card would come out and it would just every single one of them would be bought up, and you'd find them on eBay the next day for like triple the price. For years, that's how it happened.
Yeah.
I hated it. Anyway, just now we're just like old man yells at clouds.
Now,
But-
now we're part-time shaming again.
Yes. We don't even
Hey.
need. Yeah.
Shame on scalpers, though.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yes. Legitimately, stop doing that. You ruin it for everyone else.
You're ruining kids' birthdays and Christmas, for goodness sake. The hell's wrong with you?
Yes, exactly what she just said. Anyway, all right. So a little bit shorter show today. Game was a little bit easier to go over. So, but yet we're gonna be going into a new topic, new theme for next month, and we've decided to talk about some tactical games. Going from fishing to tactics, and I'm surprised the first game we're going to be talking about next week. I'm surprised we haven't talked about it before. I thought I'm starting to get like the film sack condition where whatever game we talk about, I think we already talked about it. And we're going to be talking about Gears Tactics next week. And I thought we talked about it already because we did talk about Gears 5. But we have not talked about this, which is a shame because it's actually an amazing game. But we're finally going to be getting to it. We're talking about Gears Tactics next week. So everyone, and for everyone who wants to try it out, it is on Game Pass. So you can try it out there if you do have Game Pass.
Sale on Steam.
Yes, I think it's, $20 on Steam right now? Something like that? I don't remember.
Something popped up saying it was like 67% off. So
Yeah. Because when I looked it up on the Xbox app, it was like $20 on there. So it might be the same on Steam. I don't know. I've had it on Steam.
Okay, Game Pass for me.
Yeah. I mean, I've had it on Steam for a while now, so it's a really fun game, actually. Anyways, we're going to talk about it next week. Everyone, thank you for listening. If you like what try that again. If you would like what you've heard and would like to help us out, a few ways you can do that are by giving us a review over on Apple Podcast. You can follow my Twitch and YouTube channels for our live recordings Sunday nights starting at 9:15 Eastern Time. Excuse me, I burped. Or you can become one of our patrons where you can apparently hear me burp more often. I don't know. If you'd like to contact us, you can with our email, parttimegamers.cast@gmail.com. Or you can join our Discord channel. You can find this show and links to everything around it using the link bit.ly/CI Productions. Ember, where can people find you around the internet?
Well, the easiest thing to do is go to 9of12.com. That's NINEOF12.com. It'll point you to most of my projects.
And you can find some of Theo's stuff over at swellcast.com/thatoneweirdo and Rabbit in Red Radio. At some point, I need to get him to update his links on here because we have not gotten any more links from him. But anyways, you can find him at places. Yeah. All right, everyone. Until next time, we are the Part-Time Gamers clocking out.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.